Welcome to the MVP Show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guy.com/265. Before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. So far, people have attended this program from over 34 countries from around the world. Wherever your location is, this is an opportunity for you to invest in your career. If you want to be mentored in the next 90-Day Mentoring Challenge, please go to nz365guy.com/mentor. Now let's get on with the show. Today's MVP is from the Philippines. He is the co-founder and CEO of Hacktive Collab, and he's a co-founder and CTO of Raven Global Ventures. He's a first-time MVP and the first business applications MVP in the Philippines. You can find him on Twitter at Hey Paul Roots. Welcome to the show, Paul Soliman.
Hi, good morning, Mark. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Good.
I'm cool.
Good. It's the start of the day for you there are you in Makati?
Yes, I'm in Makati.
Excellent. I've been to Makati a few times across my career. It's a very busy city.
Yeah, so Microsoft is also here. I mean, in the city. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got quite a big office there, don't they?
Yeah, so they are in, I think, one of the premier buildings here in Makati.
Yeah, very good. So was that right that you're the first business application MVP in the Philippines?
Yeah, as far as I know, and as far as the folks in Microsoft told me. So I'm the first, and I think I have Jessica as well. Jessica is the second. She's also helping my community here in the Philippines.
Wow, this is so cool. It's so cool because when I went there, of course, there was definitely no MVPs that I knew of, and well, being the first, you would be. I didn't meet you there, but tell me, how did you end up becoming an MVP? What was your journey to becoming an MVP?
Basically, it MVPs, yeah, it's a dream, but what we did first, or what I did first, because there's a problem of what do you call it? There's a stigma of this building a business applications community here in the Philippines, because there are partners that doesn't want to join because you know they might be stealing customer, etc., right? If they go to the community, you might hire their people, right? So they're so I've been asked by the APAC to try it, right? And I think Sanjeev, one of also our MVPs in APAC, encouraged me to build one. So the target is to really to build a community. We started with two people, then now we're 400 plus in the Facebook group. So that's it. Then of course contributing, etc. So of course I want to be an MVP, right? So submitted some of my community works to the APAC evaluation team for my for my MVP application, etc. And someone nominated me, of course, inside the part the I think it's Microsoft part-time. It's not the full-time employees because they can't nominate, right? So someone from the Microsoft non-full-time, and I think they were my friends also in the community, so they nominated me, but not on the Dynamics, on the Azure, in the Azure community. So yeah, because we don't have business applications MVP here in the Philippines, so they nominated me. Then I submitted everything. Then that's it. But the heart is really, my why is to really help Dynamics and Power Platform, consultants here to in the Philippines to learn. It's not really about becoming an MVP, but to really help the community.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk a bit about the Philippines and how big the community is in that in that area. Give me an idea of kind of how many consultants or people working in either Dynamics 365 or the Power Platform would be based in the Philippines.
well, I'll start with how many, partners do we have here, something like that. So it's very, very, there's few, but um I think if I'm gonna go to the Microsoft statistic, in here in the Philippines, I think they have like 5 to 6 managed partners, and some of those dynamics partner are not anymore, catering dynamics. So technically, if we will, count the number of consultant, I might go to the active partners that, still implements Dynamics 365 Power Platform. So I think more or less it's gonna be less than, I mean, the true consultant that does project, right? So I think it's gonna be less than 200.
Do you think so? Do you think, as in, I would think there'd be a lot more than 200. Um, just then, when I was there, I think I had about 15 consultants working for me when I was in the Philippines. And then there was, I know Avanade had about 300 at the time. I know KPMG now have teams, Barhead have teams up there. There'd be a lot, yeah, a lot of consultants, right, that are based in the Philippines.
Got it. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so I did not count like this, consultant that supports foreign,
Offshore,
yeah,
yes,
or
yes, yeah,
offshore
yeah,
account.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So because you know what the target of community is really the local partner that, that does implementation here in the Philippines. So
Oh,
when I
okay,
say,
okay.
yeah, because like, let's say for example, I know a company that does have, 100 people, but 20%, 20 of those people are the only ones who do dynamics, something like that. So in terms of like active consultants as well, that does play here, for a local implementation, I think it may be it may be 200, but I think it's less than.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me. Tell me, what type of companies are implementing, in your experience, Power Apps in the Philippines? Like, is it more like in the telecom space? Is it more government? What type of organizations are using the Power Platform?
Good question, Mark. Actually, um, based on my experience, because Hacktiv is really Power Platform and Dynamics driven, right? And we do partner to partner. That's the business model of Hacktiv. So we don't go direct to customer. So based on our experience, so technically it's very diverse. But in terms of the size of the company, it's really the enterprise, uh, company, like, I can say 1,000 plus employees, or with the likes of like, I mean, with the likes of airlines, uh, big retail company, conglomerates, etc. So those are the ones who, asking for our help to collaborate with them in terms of developing using Power Platform.
And have you noticed, over the course of the year, has there been much change in? Has there been more projects? Do you see in the market, or less projects with COVID and things like that happening?
Well, when COVID hits and the lockdown here in the Philippines started already, I mean, even in my company, we're experiencing, I think it's tripling our, effort. So it's really crazy. I mean, there's a lot of, opportunities and implementation happening, you because of what COVID did. I think if I may quote Satya Nadella, so we consumed 2 years of digital transformation in only 2 months, right? So it's technically like that. It's really happening. It's the reality even here in the Philippines. So in terms of Power Platform, implementation and Dynamics 365, because number one problem is, so almost of their people are now working from home, so they're trying to, catch up on building their, let's say time in time out, using Microsoft Teams and Power Apps, etc. So those kind of solutions, are really, hot, I can say selling, but more of like, the hot, um or the first thing in mind that this company is trying to build already. In fact, they're hiring their own, citizen developers now for them to be able to, create more tools because of this pandemic.
Yeah. So is everybody, when I was in Makati, everyone, would come into the central office. There'd be a big influx of people, into the offices. With the pandemic, did people work from home more, or did they still go into the offices? How did that work when you had your lockdown?
Well, technically, it's like 30 to 50%. That's the allowable, workforce to go to the office because of some regulation. So technically, if you were in Makati before, or if you went to Makati already, so you can see the city is not, it's busy because of traffic, right? When you go out at 5 p.m., then you will see cars are filing up already. But in terms of, the building population in the streets, it's really less now.
And is it easy for people to work remotely then um in the Philippines?
The challenge is still the internet connection. I mean, so what? Okay, for let's say, for example, for my company, instead of them, giving this transportation allowance because they're not anymore transporting, right? So, or using the transportation allowance. So what we did is, we encouraged them, and we gave them allowance to pay for like two ISP providers. I mean, for them not to, reason out that they don't have an internet at home. And since we built our company, since the start of our company, it's really output based, so we don't have a problem on, them working from anywhere.
Interesting. Tell me, so tell me a bit about your family, and what do you do when you're not working?
Because I'm running two startups today, right? So it's really, I need to put a little more, not little more, sometimes more time to working. But the good thing, I'm not saying that pandemic is a good thing, but it really helped because technically I'm at home, right? So I'm not frequently in the office, so I can't, spend time more with my family. And I have three kids, so I'm seeing also that they're working because they have online school. So what adjustment we did is, we one of our room, we made it as like, a an office for kids, for them to, to have a better experience in the online school. But yeah, then because of this lockdown, because all right, so the regulation here in the Philippines is, I think, they 15 below, so ages 15 below can't go outside. So what we're doing, over the weekend, is we travel, of course, via car. Then, we just travel on the road. So because, kids doesn't want to stay in our house. So I mean, for that long. So we bond, like, we're just traveling, we're just doing a road trip.
Hmm. I like it. I like it. So that creates a bit of variety for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good. What so how long have you been in MVP now? Is it over 6 months?
I think I started. I was officially awarded, if I'm not mistaken, it's on. I think it's March. So I started March 20. Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So have you noticed any difference in becoming an MVP? What was the kind of impact it's had on you as an individual? How has it impacted your career? And was there any surprises that you didn't know about before becoming an MVP?
Oh, I mean, I really appreciated this program, because, or this award, if I can use that word. So technically, Well, in terms of growth, not only on the technical aspect, but also on impact in my personal life. It's really good because number one for me, the content that we have as an MVP, right? It's very, for me it's comprehensive. I don't know with other MVPs, but because I was first, I was this is my first time to to be awarded. Then I really love the content and the exclusive perks that we have, right? And number two is really getting to know more, getting to to know more about the community, this global community that we have. And I think it's really, in if I may use the word, it's really helping each other in terms of knowing your colleagues and your fellow MVP. It's really a good help to my career as well as an entrepreneur. And I can also share personal stuff in with my APAC co-fellow APAC MVP. So I think in terms of holistical impact, it's really good. It's great. I mean, it's like, I can say it's one of my bucket list in my lifetime.
During lockdown, and you said you got a big focus on community in the Philippines. How have you kind of made that connection with with other people in the community? Has it all been around your Facebook group, or are you still meeting in person, or are you running like Teams based meetings? How do you make sure that the community is staying healthy in the Philippines?
Yeah. Um. The so backstory, we used to meet, right? I think everybody used to meet in in Microsoft Office or in other venue to conduct this talks and meetups, right? So the way we engage audience here in the Philippines or the community members is really more of trainings, right? Like power ups in a day, up in a day, etc., dashboard in a day, etc. So and of course, some of the, even within on the physical meeting, there's hardship convincing again this partners to for them to join the community to share their stuff, etc., because there's still stigma, right? The one that I mentioned a while ago, right? So even in the physical meetup days that we were doing before, it's really hard to get big audience. So technically, when we do like the casual meetup, usually the maximum is like 30, minimum is like 15 members, okay? But when we do the training, meaning this training that we conducted for free, of course, with the community leaders, then you will see like a spike in attendance, like 50 to 60, 70 to 80, something like that. And then when pandemic happened, I think we we increased the audience because they don't need to go to Makati because the meetup is in Microsoft Office, right? So the traffic also adds this issue of them not going to the to the community events before. So when the pandemic, well, the community is still young. We started July last year, and Facebook group is still intact, still there, even not on, even we on the physical meetup. So we're using the Facebook page, the Facebook group, for us to invite and put stuff there. So technically, when pandemic hits, as I mentioned, it's we even the casual meetup, like 1 hour event for like 30 minutes talk for each speaker, then we're getting, we doubled the audience.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Wow. So that's solid then. It's still staying well intact.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, we've shot through the time. I always like to end these with a bit of quick fire questions. It's been interesting finding out about the community in the Philippines and your journey. But are you ready for your quick fire questions?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the first one. What do you regret not doing when you were younger?
I think getting into entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier, meaning I should jump in earlier.
I like it. I like it. How did you meet your best friend?
I think in high school.
Very cool. Very cool. If you could only eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, so I'm in keto diet, so I think that's steak. That's steak.
Steak.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Would you rather never read another book or never watch another movie?
Never watch another movie because I read a lot of book. Yeah.
I love it. What's your favorite quote?
I rather fail
Yes.
than not to try.
I love it. I love it. That's very good. That's very good. What do the first 30 minutes of your typical day look like?
Yeah, so I have this morning habit. So I read books, I meditate, then I exercise.
I love it. I love it. And with your keto diet, it sounds like you'll be pretty fit.
Yeah, but it's for really health reason because I'm type 2 diabetic.
Okay, so it's helpful with that. Very good. Well, thank you, Paul. It's been great to have you on the show. And hopefully I'll get to see you one day at an MVP summit once we can all get back together again.
Yeah, Mark. I mean, I'm also, wanting to know more about your program and what you do in the community as well, because I know a lot of people, know you here in the Philippines. So yeah, I'm curious who's really, Mark is, right? We can have more chat. Sometime.
Awesome. Sounds good. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Applications MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. Please like and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player, or you can go to nz365guy.com/review and leave a review if you've enjoyed the podcast and you get value from it. Otherwise, see you next time. Stay safe out there.